Welcome back to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at the market site, we have Nick Tsafos. He is the partner and chairman of the board for EisnerAmper Global, and we are here to focus on the state of the hedge fund and private equity industry. Thank you so much for joining us at Market Site. And the hedge fund industry needs to do a better job of explaining its performance.
Sure, they do have to do a better job. I think they have to do a better job in identifying themselves in regards to that performance. When you have high volatility in December of 2018 and you have hedge fund performance mirroring that volatility that we see in the market, how are you differentiating yourself? I mean, when you hear the term hedge fund, you're supposed to be really hedging against the market volatility. And the strategies that can do that are going to be very successful. So they're going to be parts of the industry that are going to do better than others.
So different size alternative investment advisors, would you say that there's a high barrier to entry for small to mid-size hedge fund managers?
Emerging managers do face a higher barrier to entry because investors are looking for that gold standard in internal controls and protecting assets and adhering to regulatory requirements, even though they might not be required to register with the Securities and Exchange Commission, and they compare them to the larger advisors or the big advisors that we see. The middle of the pack type of advisors are the ones that I think having the hardest time. EisnerAmper, we advise our clients as to how to have those strategies that meet the investor needs so you can grow and get to the bigger level where the barrier to entry is a lot less complicated.
Right. So hedge funds, they're constantly comparing their benchmark, or their benchmark is the S&P 500, which is not always accurate.
That's true, and it depends on the strategy.
Right.
If you are going into a hedge fund that's a long-short equity strategy, that might be good to compare the S&P 500 or an ETF that's comparable. If you're going to bank debt or CLOs or emerging markets, you should be really comparing to a benchmark that mimics that strategy. And in a diversified portfolio, you might be comparing the whole portfolio to the S&P 500. However, when you're talking about specific strategies, you got to get to that specific measurement that you should be comparing to.
So what you're doing over at EisnerAmper Global, what are you doing to help hedge funds more appropriately market or to invest, if you will?
Well, we, as an accounting firm, we're not allowed to help them market. However, we help them with identifying internal controls and policies and procedures that would meet their investors' needs. Investors come in, they want to make sure that, like I said earlier, they have the gold standard of controls in place, and we assist investment advisors where we can in developing those controls.
So like on the due diligence side?
Exactly right. So the due diligence questionnaires and all the investor needs, we assist them with.
All right, Nick, thank you so much for joining us at Market Site.
Thank you.
And thank you.